Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. I wanted to take a couple minutes to explain to you, or really show you, some of the bad free power of attorney forms that I see floating around the internet. And there are two or three that I see very, very often. They must be doing very well with Google, where people type in free durable power of attorney in Florida, and these two or three forms seem to show up a lot. Actually, I have two of them right in front of me right now that were brought to me by different clients, and I want to show them to you so you can take a look at them. I'll explain to you why I don't like them, and you can decide, if you happen to have these forms, whether it makes sense for you to go visit with a local elder law attorney to get a form, power of attorney that is more specifically tailored to your situation. So here we go. So the first form that I see is very simple and very short. And there's not to say that short is bad. It's 3 pages long, and here's what it looks like. And here's the top of it. It says Florida Durable Power of Attorney on it. And 1, 2, 3 pages. Okay, so now you ask yourself, Jason, what's wrong with this form? Why don't you like it? And the reason why I don't like it, in fact, this would have been a very good form had it been signed before 2011. This one was signed in 2019. In 2011, what happened was the Florida legislature amended the Florida Power of Attorney Act, and it required that certain powers that the principal is trying to convey to their agent has to have specific initials right next to those powers. And specifically, some of those powers are the ability to create irrevocable and revocable trusts and the ability to modify these trusts. And especially in an elder law Medicaid planning context, the ability to do those things is incredibly important. Even though this document references trusts and gives the agent the ability to do all sorts of things with trusts, you'll notice there's no initials next to it. The only place that there's a signature is at the very, very end. And that's fine for certain things that a power of attorney that you want your agent to do under a power of attorney, but not at all useful for other things. So a third party can very reasonably reject this power of attorney depending on what it is you're trying to do with it. The second document that I see very, very frequently that I know is free on the internet is this form right here. And always has a nice little border around it. It looks very nice. And at first glance, it would appear to get around the problem that I just described, which is there's no initials no place to initial next to certain conveyed powers. And you see here, there's a place to initial here, there's a place to initial there. And if you flip the page, keeps going, right? And in fact, what's interesting about this form is it has an initial next to everything, and that's not required. But again, there's no prohibition on too much initialing. We just have to make sure the right powers have initials next to them. What this one tries to do, it tries to be cute and clever. And the clever is whoever put it together thought that it'd be fine if they had this one initial at the very end, which basically says if you initial here, and I'll give you a little closer look there. If you initial here, there's no need to initial everywhere else. Initialing here is the same as initialing everything above this letter. That's what it says. Well, the statute doesn't say that. The statute says that right next to the provision in question must the principal initial, right? It doesn't say you can initial at the bottom and that it's good for everything else. So again, you're asking for trouble when you present this to a third party. You can say, I only see initial on this last page here. I don't see an initial next to the provisions where I need to see initials. I have a couple other problems with this form, by the way. There's some bad language in it, but that's kind of getting into the details. But see, there's a blank space here, and it's giving you the ability to kind of handwrite in special provisions. Isn't that asking for fraud? Isn't that asking for people to sign this document now and then someone else years down the road kind of handwrite in something that maybe the principal never intended, maybe to provide a power that they didn't want to convey? I think that is just bad form. And the other issue the other thing that I don't like about this document is, see on the bottom here, it's asking for a social security number. And that's not necessary. And I'm a big proponent of not putting your social security number unnecessarily out into the world. That does nothing for you, and it's certainly not needed or required on a good, durable power of attorney. So I'm going to link to an article in this video. If you go to YouTube and you click in the description section, there's going to be a link to an article that I wrote that describes how other these powers of attorney and other powers of attorney are deficient, and you can compare that with what you have in your document. And if you are so inclined and want to make sure that it's done right, I would encourage you to take this document and go have it evaluated by your local elder law attorney to make sure that what you have is good, to make sure that what you have doesn't cause you unnecessary heartache later on. You don't want to feel protected now only to be disappointed later when someone rejects your power of attorney. Get it done right the first time. I hope this has been helpful, and thank you very much.